Hi and welcome to Watch the Time and my initial thoughts and review on the Vostok GMT. So just a quick little bit about this. I had a Vostok amphibian, and then I had a Vostok Komandirskie hand winder, both quite nice watches. The amphibian I really liked because I kind of modded it, but I sold it on in the end. It had a mirror finish case, and I prefer a more of a brushed look on a, especially on a real tooly watch like this. So I sold that on. Then I got the Komandirskie, the little hand winder. That was quite a nice little watch, but again I sold it on. Just didn't capture me enough to want to keep it in my collection. And then I saw a couple of reviews on this, which is, let's just talk about the specs. It's an all stainless steel, and most Vostoks aren't. They're sort of brass with a coating. So it's an all stainless steel watch. It's automatic. It's a GMT. So I thought, well, yep, I'll have a look at it. I like the quirky nature of Vostoks in general, so I thought I'd get one. So I ordered one in. A couple of things I want to pick up first of all. On the review that I've seen, there was two things that the review that I saw, they just got it so badly wrong. It's unbelievable, and I'm like, I don't know why you're doing it. The only reason I can think they say these things is because they want you to buy them and use their affiliate links. Now, I haven't got any affiliate links to this. I bought it out with my own money, and I'm going to give you my opinions on it, and that's the end of it. If you want to buy one, buy one. If you don't, you don't. Simple as. The first thing they said was the bracelet was actually quite good. Well, I mean, let's start off with horrific. How about that for a word? I'm going to undo the clasp, and I'm going to use as little force as possible. There we go. That is not secure. Look at that. It takes absolutely no effort to open that at all. So that's going to undo really easily, and then you've got this thing flopping about. It is secure on, even if you press one of the push, so it is a double deployment, but it's not much of a push to oh my god, look at that, to relieve it. It kind of gets, there we go. It's it's not much of a push to release it. That's just, as cheap as you can get. Everything feels sharp, and I mean, there's a nasty little sharp bit there. There's a definite little bit of burr in there. This is like a bloody razor blade here. I mean, this should be called this would be like a Swiss Army knife. The actual links themselves are just rolled. They're hollow sort of links, which I'm sure you could probably squash with a pair of pliers. Everything about it is horrible. It's kind of sticky. It's like it doesn't articulate well. I don't know if it comes across how bad this is, but it's kind of jerky and horrible. It doesn't taper, so it's quite a thick, chunky thing on the wrist. It doesn't weigh anything because it's hollow, but it's that polished middling is completely out of character with the rest of the watch. I mean, look at this. Let's destroy it. Yeah. There we go. That's it. That's what I think of that. Right, so that's that out of the way. Done. The second thing is the Lume. I'm not even going to show you the Lume because I could light this up with a UV light or a really powerful torch, and then show you a picture of it exposed in the dark with it all lit up, and the little triangle has got some Lume in the hands and the little pips, and but it lasts about 4 minutes and then it's all gone and you can't see it at all. So the Lume on these watches is a non-event. I've got a few watches where the Lume is a non-event. The Dan Henry really doesn't hold up. This Pagani is a new watch I've got. The review's coming on that soon. That's useless as well when it comes to Lume. The Omega Speedmaster has got good Lume, but there's not a lot on it so it doesn't last greatly. But so forget the Lume. So they are the negative points out of the way, and honestly, they're the only ones. So we've completely got rid of one because I've ditched it and destroyed it, the bracelet, and the second one, the Lume, well, you've just got to either live with that or decide if you want a watch with really good Lume, then you're going to have to buy something different. Buy a Seiko or something that has really good Lume. or a Citizen. They've got generally, I mean, the ProMaster Diver's got great lume. So that's that. We've got about a 42mm case, so it's quite a a chunky watch. I'll put it against my Omega Seamaster Professional there. Quite a similar size. It's a lot thicker and more chunky, as you can see. There we go. But the Omega is, a particularly slender watch for a 300-meter diver, I have to say. Let's put it against the little Willard. There we go. So, a much more utilitarian look. There's it's very angular, and I quite like that. It really is a tool watch, and it really looks like a tool watch. Very, one might say it's quite tank-like in construction. It does feel like you could throw this off the roof, and it might get a little dent or a scratch on it, but it's going to be fine. The bezel is a 24-hour bezel, because this is a GMT watch with the GMT hand slaved to the main hands. Now what that means is you can't set the GMT hand independently, so you have to have it, you have to use it in conjunction with the bezel, and that's how you get your second time zone. Whether that's a true GMT or not, I honestly don't care. Does it function as a GMT? Yes, but you set your time zones by moving your out your bezel, and then you read off the 24-hour hand as to what the time is. And make sure you've got it in the right orientation. So this is 12 hours out, so I need to wind the time on 12 hours to get it correct, because it's out at the moment. But there you go. So the GMT function works really well. The bezel action is just smooth but tight, so it doesn't feel like you're going to easily knock it. Once you've set it, it kind of stays there. I have tested that out and worn it at night and stuff, and it doesn't move. So that's absolutely fine. It's nice and grippy. It's all steel. Again, it feels really nice. The crown is chunky and grippy, and actually really quite nice. You need to get used to how these work, these Vostoks, but when you undo the crown, it kind of goes all floppy, but it's meant to do that. You can hand wind, adjust the time, it's all fine. You just kind of get used to it, and perhaps I'll go over a bit more than that when I do my really detailed sort of long-term review. But in my opinion, they work fine. Now this is a Komandirskie, but it's an automatic. Now I thought most Komandirskies were manual winders, but this one is an automatic, so your interaction with the crown is certainly going to be less than with a what I call a standard Komandirskie with just a hand wind movement. The movement chugs along a slow beat rate of 19,800 beats per minute. It's which is fine. It's a small seconds, as you can see there, and so you still get the smooth sweep of the seconds. But I've sat low beats and high beats next to each other, and at a glance you can't really tell the difference really with the naked eye. They all look pretty good to me. It's never bothered me. The good thing about the low beat rate is that it means you're not going to have to worry about getting this serviced anytime soon in the next century. No, I mean they go on for years and years without being serviced. They're very robust, reliable. Agricultural is another word used for these movements. This one out of the box is running at plus 16 seconds a day on my first test. I always do about 3 tests just to make sure I get it right. But it is running just a little bit fast, but that's no problem. I can just tweak that and ease it off a little bit, no problem, and I'll be able to get this pretty tight, I suspect. But I'm happy with that. I'm happy with the overall sort of quality. The finishing on the case is really nice. I will just show you so there's the case back, very plain, just got the B for Vostok in the middle there, and some other information. The other unusual thing about this, and that I like, is this ring that retains the back case. It means when you put the back case on, the securing ring means that the case doesn't turn on the sealing washer, so it pushes down sort of straight down rather than twisting, so you're not going to pinch the washer. So nice and easy to get the back on and off of this, and you can do it many times without any issues. The other weird thing, it's a 200-meter water resistant watch, so we've kind of got a mixture of Komandirskies, which are usually I think sort of 50 meters water resistant, if that, with hand winding, and this is more drifting towards an Amphibia, which is their more sort of a dive watch. We've got an all stainless steel construction, 200 meters of water resistance. It's an automatic. It's really I don't know why this isn't the Amphibia GMT. I don't really get it, but it's nice to have the water resistance, and these get more water resistant the deeper they go because the crystal squashes into the case and gets tighter as it goes deeper. So it's quite some good ingenious design things going on here. I'm just showing you this because I want you to get a full a really good look at the case, because the casework is actually really good. We've got some really nice sharp lines. It's all very I say angular and tool-like, and I really like it. Now I suppose when you think of a GMT, you usually think of something perhaps a little bit more dressy, maybe a little bit less tooly in fact, but this is really, this really is a tool watch. It's a beta watch, and I'm sort of when I first saw it, I thought, yeah, that's okay. Now I've got it in hand, I'm kind of thinking, yeah, this one might stay in the collection for a while. So I'll just pop it on wrist and show you what it looks like. So there it is on my just over 7-inch wrist. Again, it's a chunky watch because it's on a NATO. It sits perhaps a little bit higher than you would like. I mean, there I'm accentuating it. In reality, it's quite comfortable, and so I've worn this now for a while, a couple of days, and overnight it's not an uncomfortable watch to wear. It doesn't sort of bump into things like I thought it might. It's borderline for me. I'd say it's near the mark, but my intention is to, at some point, to get it onto probably a 2-piece canvas or a 2-piece NATO kind of style, so it sits a little bit lower on the wrist, and I think it'll be even better. But I say it's absolutely fine. Just move it away a little bit for a look there. Yeah, it's not massive. The lug to lug distance isn't huge. It's fairly nice for a chunky tooly watch. It wears actually really quite nicely. And you've got that added interest of the the extra hand, the fourth hand on the dial, the GMT hand. So all in all, I'm really pleased with it. Not too much detail on the dial either, so it's not. I like where they've put the Komandirskie. I like the fact that it's a no date. If you've ever had a Vostok, when you had the Amphibia, you can't change the date. There's no quick set date on them, so you have to kind of jump the date backwards and forwards. I've done videos on that, and it can be a bit of a pain, and I ended up just not bothering with the date. So when I saw this with no date, I was actually pleased that it is a no date. And so when you come to use this watch, you just set the time, and away you go. So all in all, I'm really happy with it. You could put this on virtually any strap because it's just straight. You just use straight end links. There's nothing fancy about the end link. So anything with a straight end link, you could put it on a nice Milanese strap, or I was thinking of a beads of rice on it, but then I realised I've got I've got 3 watches already on stainless steel in my collection, so I'm going to get a 2-piece, either canvas or sort of a NATO 2-piece NATO kind of deal on this, and we'll go from there, I think. Although it actually works quite nice on this elastic one, and the colour works, the green and the red, I think complement the watch really nicely. And one more thing, the crystal is acrylic, so yes, they'll scratch, but yes, you can polish them. And again, that's one of those things, is it a problem? To me, no. I've never had an issue with that whatsoever. If it gets scratched, it gets scratched. If you're a serial flipper and you're worried about the value drops when you get a scratch on it if you come to sell it. So just bear that in mind when you decide, whether you want this or not. It is just a piece of plastic on there. But for me, I've not got an issue with that in any way, shape or form. My Speedy's I specifically chose the acrylic crystal because I thought it was more true to the original, and I just like the look that you get with acrylic. In some watches, I prefer sapphire. I've got sapphire. This is a mixture. We've got Seiko's Hesselite here. We've got a bit of plastic on the Casio, which I recently polished out and got rid of all the scratches on, so it's like new again. So there, swings and roundabouts, but there you go. So that's my sort of initial thoughts on the Vostok Komandirskie GMT. An absolute little cracker. It's one of those watches you either it's a bit of a love-hate relationship with Vostok, but I'd always suggest giving them a go. So thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you in the next review, which will be the little Pagani sports watch here. Cheers, thanks for watching. Bye.